What are the 12 most exciting things about the new Doctor Who The Collection Season 24 box set? This week, a big piece of classic Doctor Who news took most people by surprise. So, you'll have seen the marvellous trailer in which Sylvester McCoy and Bonnie Langford reprise their roles as the Doctor and Melanie Bush for the first time in God knows how long.
Doctor!
You'll have hopefully placed your pre-order for the box set if you want it, and if you haven't, there's a handy link downstairs in the video description. And no doubt you've already had a good look through the generous list of special features on this release. Incidentally, those features that I don't mention in this video, I'm going to put down in the video description in text form so that you can get the full picture of what we know so far about the special features on this release. My own personal list of the 12 most exciting things about the Season 24 box set is in no particular order. Having said that though, there's no question that this first aspect is always one of the most exciting things about these box sets, and that's Lee Binding's stunning artwork. Let's take a good close-up look at the cover of the Season 24 box set. As always, the colour synchronicity is one of the nicest things about these collection covers, and the colours are once again just absolutely gorgeous here. I think that's a lovely shot of the Seventh Doctor. Very good. And of course I love the fact that he's holding a couple of spoons there, because of course the Seventh Doctor likes a bit of spooning, doesn't he, so to speak. And indeed we see him play the spoons for the first time since probably 1987 in the new trailer. So that's the cover as a whole. One thing I always particularly enjoy doing when I get one of these covers to take a look at is zoom in on the Doctor's torso to see which of his familiar foes have been given the honour of making the cover. Taking the centre spot is the Rani, and I don't think anyone could possibly argue with that. The Rani played by Kate O'Mara. And just above her is Richard Briers, playing the caretaker in Paradise Towers, looking a bit like he's in undead mode. Yes, he gets possessed by something, doesn't he? As I'll mention in a minute, it's been a while since I've seen this season. Now, continuing around the Rani in a clockwise fashion, we have one of the cleaning robots, also from Paradise Towers. And when I see it here, it strikes me how similar it is to the IMC robot from Colony in Space. That looks really cool. Yeah, those robots are really nice, weren't they? Continuing around clockwise, we have a cute and cuddly Tetrap. You just want to give it a cuddle, don't you? Even though it's holding what appears to be a great big gun. Further along we have Gavrok from Delta and the Bannermen, and played by Don Henderson. Looking good there. As we come round to this final critter here, I must confess I've got no idea who this monster is. But what a fine selection. As usual, it's a really good set of choices there on the cover, I think. Oh yes indeed, I can't wait to get my hands on that box set so I can unbox it for you lovely people, and indeed watch the content. So let's talk a bit more about the contents. Most exciting thing, number 2, there are 4 stories in this box set, 4 serials if you will, and each of them is presented in an optional extended edition. How cool is that if you're a big fan of this particular season? I always like the extended editions, although I must admit on a personal level they tend to kind of paralyse me in terms of choice as to what to watch. I can remember getting the Season 26 box set. When was that? I don't know, probably about, it feels like it was about 10 years ago, but it was probably 2019, wasn't it? I can remember getting that box set and feeling unsure as to which of the versions to watch. I think there were like 2 or maybe 3 versions of the odd story in that box set, if my memory serves me correctly. But we love it, don't we? We Doctor Who fans love to have as many different versions of this stuff as we can get. And one of the things, as I always say, that I really love about the Doctor Who The Collection series is it really feels like a solid, definitive archive of that particular season. It's the best we currently have. Obviously, no doubt in about 5 years we'll be looking at a new 4K version of all of this stuff with about 10 times as many extras. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, eh? So yeah, extended editions of these stories, and I guess that explains why there's 8 discs involved, which once again takes the price of the box set up from the usual $39.99 to $4.99. In case you're new to this channel, by the way, I'm Jason Arnott, a writer of Doctor Who fiction and non-fiction alike, as well as my own novels. There's stuff about those down there in the video description if you're interested. The Doctor's Table. Yes, here's another exciting thing, which is always nice. It's like a bunch of people sitting around a dinner table having a chat, and it's kind of just another nice way to get a candid conversation going about, in this case, season 24. And the diners in question are, you'll be shocked to hear and delighted, Sylvester McCoy and Bonnie Langford. Yes, Sylvester and Bonnie have done a lot of stuff for this box set, and it's great to see. So you've got Sylvester, Bonnie, Sophie Aldred and Clive Merrison, who's from Paradise Towers and also from back in the day, Tomb of the Cybermen. I love all this kind of thing. It's a bit like the writer's room on these sets, isn't it? When BBC Studios get a chance to do a writer's room featurette, they tend to do that. Otherwise, it's great to have at the Doctor's Table, yeah, in which some of the cast sit around and chat. And by the way, I want to hear which of these aspects of the box set you are most excited about down in comments. Not yet though, do watch the rest of the video first. The fourth most exciting aspect of this box set is one of the documentaries. There's a season overview documentary called Here's to the Future that takes a sweeping look across season 24. And I love that kind of thing. Yeah, back in the day with the DVDs, I always loved those kind of overview special features and the making of special features as well, and more about that in a moment. But yeah, I'm excited about the idea of a featurette that looks just over the whole thing and gives you a nice overview of what the whole season was about, and I guess the production and what was going on in the political landscape of the BBC at the time, no doubt. The fifth most exciting thing about this box set is another documentary, which is a making of documentary about Delta and the Bannermen. Now, I can't remember exactly how I felt about this story at the time, but I do know that I'll be interested after I've watched the story again to watch a making of documentary about it, because I always love making of docs. What is not to like? And I know that Bonnie Langford and Sylvester McCoy have taken part in this one, and so that's going to be a joy. The sixth most exciting aspect of this box set is quite simply Kate O'Mara. Do I really need to expand on that? I don't think so. We're over halfway through the most exciting things now with aspect number 7, and that for me is quite simply revisiting these stories. Now, this channel is a retro channel that deals in lots of different varied retro things with a very, very big dollop of Doctor Who, and it tends to be about stuff I'm obsessed with and I'm incredibly excited about. Now, I would be lying to you. I cannot look down this camera lens and say to you that season 24 is something that I remember with excitement. But I am excited to revisit it because it's always interesting. I think it might have been about 10 or maybe even 20 years since I saw most of these stories, and so it'll be interesting to see how I feel about them now with the benefit of hindsight and age and a different prescription of glasses. I suspect that Dragonfire might be my favourite story of this season. Obviously, we'll see. But on the face of it, it kind of strikes me as the most traditional Doctor Who type story on offer here. And it's got a bloke's face melting. Yeah, right up my street. The eighth most exciting aspect of this box set is Behind the Sofa. I always love a bit of Behind the Sofa. I think it's a really fun feature that is exclusive to these box sets. Obviously, shall we say, inspired by Channel 4's show Gogglebox, in which a load of ordinary people watch TV shows and react to them. But it's what we want to see. It's great fun, isn't it? Watching Doctor Who luminaries, watching Doctor Who and giving their honest reactions. Well, hopefully they're honest reactions. And I think this box set might have the biggest number of guest stars for Behind the Sofa ever in this series. I may well be wrong, but there's 8 guests in this Behind the Sofa. You'll be delighted, but not surprised, I'd imagine, to hear that Sylvester McCoy and Bonnie Langford are 2 of those guests. And there's also Sophie Aldred. Always a pleasure to see Sophie. In addition, we've got 2 other doctors, and I particularly love the idea of a former doctor watching the output of another doctor and responding to it. That's particularly delicious, I think, isn't it? And so we've got Peter Davison and Colin Baker on the sofa, not together, but nevertheless they're there giving their reactions. Rounding out the list of Behind the Sofa guest stars this time are Janet Fielding. Oh, you've got to love a bit of Janet Fielding on the sofa. She tells it like it is, doesn't she? Always. Alongside her, we'll have Sarah Sutton, who played Nyssa, of course. And then there's Michael Jaston, who played the Valeyard. That's very random, isn't it? Michael Jaston, the Valeyard, passing comment on season 24. But I'm game. Here's the next exciting thing, the contents of the package itself, or at least what we've been allowed to see so far. Again, it's been a while since I saw season 24, and so I won't have as much to say about these as usual, because I can't remember who hardly any of these characters are, apart from, of course, the Seventh Doctor and Ace. Yeah, you can just about see Ace peeping round the corner there. We get a sneak preview inside the case here, and this is a nice shot of the Seventh Doctor and Mel. Nice and colourful. And even more colourful is this gloriously icy booklet cover. Yeah, that's really nice. I love that. Thankfully, when we get down to these discs, I can pretty much identify all of these characters. Yes. Yeah, there's a couple of tetraps there. And Mel screaming on one of the discs. Fancy that. Next up is an exciting thing that you may not have expected me to say, and that is infotext. Yes, infotext. Honestly, I think infotext is great. I'm a big advocate for infotext. I like the way that it just gives you tidbits about the production. It's great when you're watching a serial for the second, third, or indeed 27th time, and you get some new information about how it was put together. I don't like it so much when it does something like point out that a Silurian's mask is coming up at the back and you start to see the cracks in the production. Yeah, but you know, I suppose that's part of the territory really. Now I believe that new infotext, or maybe updated infotext, has been created for the collection box sets. The blurb for this box set doesn't actually specify its new infotext for this one, but I don't think it ever has said new infotext. So I'm pretty sure we can assume that the infotext on this set is either updated or entirely new. Another exciting thing is Matthew Sweet interviewing Sylvester McCoy. Matthew interviews someone every box set, doesn't he? And I think he's a really good interviewer. He's a very likeable sort, isn't he? And so he seems to really strike up a nice rapport with the people that he's interviewing and also ask the right kind of questions. And I very much enjoyed him interviewing Peter Davison for the season 19 box set, wasn't it? And also Sophie Aldred for season 26 box set. And so the prospect of Matthew interviewing the Seventh Doctor himself, Sylvester McCoy, is going to be a right old pleasure. And I saw Matthew tweet yesterday saying how delighted he has been with the content of the interview that he managed to get. So you just know it's going to be something to savour. We have reached the 12th most exciting thing about this box set. And as I said, these are not in any particular order, but this is a very exciting thing. It's the trailer itself for the box set. And of course, this being Doctor Who, the trailer for the box set is in the box set. It's a bit like the TARDIS, isn't it? It's a funny old business. Written and directed by Pete McTeague, who has, of course, written for the 13th Doctor's era on TV, 24 Carat really is a mini episode in itself. And it's quite a significant chunk of Doctor Who history because Melanie Bush is back in Doctor Who for the first time since Dimensions in Time. When was that? 1995? I can't remember now. Somewhere around that. The 90s anyway. And Sylvester McCoy is reprising his role, as I said, of the Seventh Doctor. That is quite astonishing. And it's a great trailer as well. It's really funny. It's really well pitched, the whole comedy aspect of it. But it also manages to get that kind of, to twangle the heartstrings with a couple of spoons when Mel sees the Doctor unmask himself from that cloak. And the visuals of the trailer, I think, are really impressive as well. You know, just the things like those lights in the background of the trailer, the kind of massive glow sticks, and all of the kind of post-production effects. Not to mention the incredible space station, for instance, that's been created by Niall Bushnell, who has worked on so many effects on the collection box sets. Yeah, the trailer does a great job of selling the box sets, but because the trailer itself is probably the most ambitious trailer we've had in the collection, it it's a whole thing in itself, and it has its own pride of place within this box set. Having told you what I think are the 12 most exciting aspects of the Season 24 box set, I now very much want to hear yours. What did I miss? I want you to get down in comments and tell me what aspect of this set you're most excited about, because oh my god, I love a bit of excitement. Who doesn't? Thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I also hope to see you for the next one. Until then, don't forget to embrace your obsession.